Getting a pet is something that a lot of people will do at some point in their lifetime and is something that is very exciting for a lot of people. But what some people may not take into consideration or pay too much attention to is where to get the pet from or where to get a pet from. There are multiple options when you are considering getting a pet, such as a dog or a cat, or a puppy or a kitten. You can either adopt one from a rescue shelter or you can buy one from a breeder. One of these options, in my opinion, is the more ethical option, and that's adopting from a shelter. When you choose to adopt a pet from a shelter, you're potentially saving an animal's life and helping to break the cycle of what is called pet overpopulation. The Helping Hands Humane Society states that each year, 8 to 12 million dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens are euthanized because there's simply not enough homes for them. Because there are so many pets available for adoption at rescue centers and at shelters, sometimes they reach the point of overpopulation, and unfortunately, this means that they have to end up euthanizing them. But if you choose to adopt from a shelter, you are saving that pet's life and you're giving it a home for the rest of its life. A good reason to adopt from a shelter is because it prevents and helps fight against what is called puppy mills. Puppy mills are breeding facilities that breed puppies just for profit, and they disregard the well-being of the puppies. The National Humane Society states in an article about why you should choose shelters over breeders and say, when you adopt a shelter animal, you actively fight the terrible practice of puppy mills who carelessly breed animals in terrifyingly poor conditions. Breeders tend to breed animals for their own personal profit, and they do not treat the animals well or provide them with any sort of good living conditions. They just breed them so that they can bring in money for themselves. When you choose to adopt a pet from a shelter, you're saving yourself money. Typically, people would choose to spay or neuter their pets, and that can cost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But typically, when you adopt from a shelter, they usually will come spayed or neutered. Typically, pets for adoption from shelters and rescue groups are already spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and microchipped. Those services can cost hundreds of dollars, and when you adopt a pet, you not only save a life, but you save a lot of money as well, says the Best Friends Animal Society. By adopting a pet, you're not actually just saving one animal or two animals or however many you adopt. You are saving tons and hundreds of animals. When you adopt a pet from a shelter, you're making room for other pets to come in. You're taking one pet home so another pet can come in and stay and take its place. The Humane Society says that by adopting an animal, you're making room for others. Not only are you giving more animals a second chance, but the cost of your adoption goes directly towards helping those shelters better care for the animals that they do take in. So when you choose to adopt from a shelter, you're not only saving lives, but your money is going to a great cause, and the money that you spent on adopting that pet is going towards helping provide better and better living conditions for the other animals in the shelter. When you tell others that you chose to adopt a pet, you're spreading a message to others that adopting is a great option and that they could find an amazing pet for life. The ASPCA says when you proudly tell others you chose to rescue an animal, you're sending a message that individuals can take effective action to save lives, fight cruelty, and end suffering. So, in conclusion, with everything that I've stated, I personally believe that adopting a pet from a shelter is a lot better than buying from a breeder, because breeders don't really bring animals up in the best condition, and they're really only breeding these animals for their own personal profit. But when you are adopting a pet from a shelter, you're saving lives, you're saving an animal's life, and that has to be a great feeling. And I actually have a personal interaction with this. My last dog was from a rescue shelter. She was breeded by a breeder in a puppy mill, but then was rescued and brought to a rescue shelter. And then that's when we got her, and we rescued her and saved her and provided her with an amazing life for the rest of her life. And that was a great feeling to know that you rescued an animal, and not only rescued an animal, but provided it with an amazing life and had an amazing pet. And yeah, it feels great. And I'm sure that, after hearing everything that I've said, you will consider adopting a pet and knowing that it is the better option. So, to end this speech, I'm going to leave you with one question, and that is, would you now consider adopting from a shelter?